Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to Watch You Want. Thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at a flagship of sorts. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar, reference 25654, 18-karat yellow gold, 39 millimeters. And this watch represents one of the first and most important complications to join the Royal Oak family. Now, launched in 1972, the Royal Oak became a complication in 1981 with the launch of the first Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar reference. As of 1978, Audemars Piguet had begun to experiment with ultra-thin Perpetual Calendar calibers, and in 1981 this was ported over to the Royal Oak line, combining the company's flagship sports watch with its flagship complication. And I just want to talk a little bit about the look and the feel of it, because this D-Series watch, the 25654, really has the fit, the feel, and the finish of those first generation 1970s and 1980s Royal Oaks. And let me start with the size. At 39 millimeters with a fully integrated bracelet, this watch wears incredibly thin on the wrist. It's only about 10 millimeters thick, so the fact that this is a central rotor, auto-winding, perpetual calendar, modular movement, and yet so thin, so closely contoured to the wrist is extraordinary. This is a dress watch par excellence. Despite its sports watch origins, the fact is this watch can easily pull off a tux. In fact, I can't think of an occasion, short of maybe a t-shirt or a sleeveless, where this watch would not be a welcome accessory. The integrated bracelet feels absolutely silky on the wrist, and that was the vision of the watch's designer, Gerald Genta, back in 1972. I should mention that this reference, 25654, maintains the monoblock case construction tradition of those first Genta-designed Royal Oaks. Today they feature display casebacks that feature a separate caseback element, and I want to call out the fact that this one is a single case. It's a front loader, so when the bezel comes off, the gasket comes off, you actually lift the movement and the dial out from the front of the watch. There are counter-torqued screws that thread into these bolts that actually retain the bezel to the case, and because of this unique construction, the watch is ultra thin. Also contributing is the JLC movement inside, but we'll get to that in a moment. I just want to recap fit, finish, and feel. My wrist is 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, so you get a good sense of how flat this watch sits. And while my wrist is a little bit on the smallish side, the fact is this bracelet has plenty of link capacity, and as you can see, plenty of shoulder to flare out even more on a larger wrist. This watch can take as big a wrist as you want to throw at it. With its integrated lugs and bracelet links, it presents far, far larger than its nominal 39 millimeters and can easily hold its own with a 42 millimeter modern sports watch. Now, fit and finish are the highlights here because there are so many contrasting finishes, and everything fits together with so little play between the parts. The tolerances are exceptional. As a true survivor, this watch feels like a new manufactured product from the factory, and you can see the fact. I mean, you can see it on my video, and you can see it in high-resolution images on our website, Watch You Want. This watch is likely never polished. It's in outstanding condition. All of the edges are exquisite with high definition. All of the brushed surfaces have true, deep, unmarred grain, and all of the polished surfaces absolutely gleam. And the polished surfaces are subtle. You can see the integration between the polished flanks of the lugs in the case flowing directly into the very subtle, faceted, polished segments of these tapering bracelet links. You can see the intermediate links fitting together with scarcely a hair's width between them, and you can see that gorgeous traditional Royal Oak bezel here in 18-karat yellow gold with its alternating polished and faceted surfaces and the signature 18-karat white gold bolts within. And that's before we even start to talk about the complication, which is a signature of this model, itself still a staple of the Royal Oak product line today. Now, the base movement is the legendary Jaeger-LeCoultre caliber 920, doing business here as the Audemars Piguet caliber 2120. This movement was developed in 1967 for ultra high-end applications like this. Development costs were split between Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Vacheron Constantin. Now, JLC never used the movement itself, and the other houses, especially Vacheron and Audemars, actually assumed the ability to build the movements in-house from the base plates and bridges. So there's a great deal of craft content that Audemars contributes even beyond writing the check to JLC. The 920 is regarded as one of the finest and thinnest automatic winding movements of all time. There are many write-ups singing its praises online, and I encourage you to read as many of them as you can, because that is only the beginning of the movement that's inside of this Royal Oak. I should also mention that the original Patek Philippe Nautilus 3700 and the original 1972 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak were both powered by that JLC 920 base movement. But you get that here, plus you get a 2802 Perpetual Calendar Moon Phase module. Arguably the ultimate everyday and every night complication, a Perpetual Calendar with a moon phase lends beautiful balance to the dial. Vertical and horizontal bilateral symmetry. It's gorgeous to behold, and the fact that this unique ecru colored dial is completely unguilloche'd with the exception of the subdials themselves gives it a unique look for a Royal Oak. There is no tapisserie pattern. It's completely matte and flat. It's very different. It's not jarring so much as it's intriguing. It really pulls you in, and the applied yellow gold indexes with very spare golden baton hands and heat blued subdial hands gives this watch a look like none other. Even among the other Royal Oak Perpetual Calendars, this dial is a keeper, and it's uniquely integrated into the tone of the entire case. It blends beautifully with the yellow gold. It's a perfect pairing, and the shocks of deep blue on the subdial hands and the moon phase complete a picture of unique elegance. This is a standout watch even among other Royal Oaks, even among other Royal Oak Perpetual Calendars. A very unique looking watch, an elegant watch. A true pleasure to behold. I got to say that it looks even better in person than it does in the photos. Now, I've already shown you the case back, and of course, as a D-Series watch, this one, I estimate based on the serial number, was probably constructed roughly 1990 to 1991. Now, the D-Series was built from 1987 to 1994, so this watch is a true veteran, and that makes it even more special that it survived in such exquisite condition. I can't imagine, given the low production of this model and the extreme low production of the movement within it, that many survive in this state of preservation. Even better, this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar 25654 in 18-karat yellow gold is available from Watch You Want with all original Audemars Piguet boxes, papers, the manuals, the documents of provenance, everything that you would have received if you were an ambitious watch buyer in the early days of the luxury watch, mechanical watch renaissance in the early 90s, is included with this watch. So if you love haute de gamme watchmaking, if you love the history of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, if you love gold, if you love a beautiful dial, exquisitely crafted in a unique image, you have to check out this Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar reference 25654 on our website, Watch You Want.